No one expected Lina's guardians to walk on four legs. She couldn't walk. She couldn't talk. Her world was just her mother's voice and the warm scent of her blanket. But in that house, two hearts were already breathing for her. Rex and Nova, two German shepherds, two silent promises. They had accepted her long before she ever lay in the crib, but they hadn't claimed her yet. One was quiet as a shadow, just there, watching. The other more curious, more playful. Yet both were waiting. This isn't really the story of a baby growing up. It's the quiet journey of three souls learning to belong to each other. A story told in looks, in silence, in presence. A house where trust didn't need words. Just moments that made you pause and whisper, something beautiful is about to happen. And it does. There's one scene you might not be able to look away from. At first glance, it's just adorable. But keep watching, because this isn't just love. This is a pact, a family, the kind built without words. There are moments in life that words can't carry, not because they're hard to say, but because they're meant to be felt. This is how Lina's story began. That morning, a new breath entered the home. Tiny, fragile, unaware of the world. But with her first breath, something shifted. Her mother held her gently, but she wasn't the only one watching. Two pairs of eyes, calm, silent, steady. Rex and Nova. Rex stood like a quiet mountain, still beneath his thick fur. In his gaze, no fear, no question. Only peace, only presence. Nova, on the other hand, was a little more restless. A flicker of curiosity. But deep down, something steady, something ancient, an unspoken instinct. When Lina was first laid in the crib, two shadows moved softly through the door. No barking, no rushing. Each step heavy, like a heartbeat. Rex stopped, lowered his head, and simply stared. But in that stare, there were words. "Hello, little one. You don't know me yet, but I've known you. From the rhythm of your mother's heartbeat, from the little kicks you made before you ever saw the light, I knew you were coming, and I knew I'd protect you." Nova stepped closer. She leaned in, touched the blanket with her nose, then quickly stepped back, as if afraid to hurt something so small, as if even her gentleness wasn't gentle enough. They had never seen someone so tiny. They didn't fully understand, but instinct told them everything. This life is sacred. This child is ours. And from that moment on, three beings grew in that home. One was discovering the world, learning sounds, flavors, feelings. The other two were watching, waiting. When Lina sat in her high chair, every spoonful made Nova's ears perk. She never missed a moment. This wasn't play. It wasn't routine. It was purpose. You could see it in her eyes. This is why I'm here. Then, one day, Lina crawled across the floor. She reached for Nova's paw, touched it gently, and smiled. Not just any smile, a true one. Not for the camera, not for a post, but the kind that says, we were meant to find each other. Time passed, and it became clear. Rex and Nova didn't just love Lina, they lived with her, they breathed with her, they waited through the quiet with her. Sometimes they played, but most of the time, they just stayed close. They didn't just follow her through life, they helped her grow into it, with patience, with trust, because sometimes the deepest lessons come without a single word. Rex and Nova were those kinds of teachers, silent, steady, sacred. Some nights while Lina slept, the wind whispered outside and the rain tapped gently on the window, like a heartbeat echoing in the dark. But Lina wasn't the only one breathing inside that house. Just beyond her bedroom door lay two silent shadows, Rex and Nova. Their chests rose and fell in rhythm. They never stepped inside, but they were always there, every night, without fail. When Lina drifted into deep sleep, maybe she dreamed, Maybe she just felt at peace. But one thing was certain. She was never truly alone. Rex listened for the faintest sound. Nova always positioned herself facing inward. They didn't speak, but they understood each other in a language deeper than words. This wasn't duty, it wasn't routine, it was a bond. Two hearts awake, watching over a sleeping one, a silent vow, repeated night after night. Lina tired easily some days, from playing, laughing, discovering her little world. Her tiny body would slow down, and she'd fall asleep, curled up on a blanket. But while she rested, the world didn't stop. It simply got quieter, and in that quiet, the quietest ones were the most watchful. Nova usually came first. She'd make a small circle, then settle beside Lina, nose gently sniffing. She'd rest her head and gaze without blinking, listening to the rise and fall of tiny breaths, watching over little fingers. Rex stayed back, always a step behind, always still, but never distracted. His gaze didn't waver. It was as if his only purpose was to protect this moment of sleep. In those moments, Lina wasn't just sleeping on a pillow. She was resting inside a trust. The camera might say, nothing is happening. But in truth, everything was happening. A baby resting, and two loyal friends standing guard over her silence. Some people pray before they sleep. But Lina was already surrounded by a prayer. One day, she fell asleep in the car. The sun was still high, but her eyelids grew heavy. And the world hushed. No one told Nova what to do. No one called her. Yet quietly, she came and laid down beside the stroller. She didn't even lift her head. Birdsong, cars passing by, none of it mattered. She kept her eyes only on Lina, like she was counting her breaths, like keeping vigil. Inside the stroller, Lina slept deeper and deeper, and Nova's eyes stayed locked on one thing, that tiny, peaceful face. It wasn't habit. It wasn't reflex. It was instinct. And something even more than that. It was love. It was belonging. A baby was sleeping in that stroller, and an angel watched over her. An angel with fur, with silence, and eyes that never closed. When Lina was almost 1, she stepped out into the garden for the very first time. Well, not stepped. Her feet hadn't touched the ground yet, but the world already felt bigger, brighter, greener. The grass tickled her palms. She let out a tiny giggle as her fingers brushed the earth, and when sunlight touched her skin, she squinted, like meeting something ancient and new. But this wasn't just a walk outside. It was a ritual, because once again, two shadows walked with her. Nova, just ahead, Rex, just behind, and in the middle, Lina, watching the world through two silent guardians. When Nova sniffed a flower, Lina watched her nose twitch. When Rex paused to look into the distance, Lina paused too. It was as if she was learning not just to walk, but to walk through life. And for the first time, maybe a child was learning how to take her first steps from a dog. There's a clip from that day, all three of them together. Lina sitting in the center, her protectors on either side. To most, it might seem cute, just a baby with two dogs. But if you look closely, you'll realize it's more than that. It's not just a child and two animals. It's the purest form of silent coexistence. And maybe, just maybe, another vow being made, no matter what comes, we'll be by your side. Lina still couldn't walk, but her curiosity had no limits. She crawled, touching everything she could. The corner of the couch, a toy left on the floor, the texture of the carpet. To her, it was all a brand new world. And always, at the very edge of that world, was Rex. He rarely moved, just sat, still and steady, not like a toy, but like a silent boundary. Lina would crawl toward him, drawn to him, like a compass finding north. One day, she crawled to the doorway leading to the kitchen. As she reached the threshold, Rex appeared. No bark, no warning. He simply blocked the path. Lina touched his fur, then sat on the floor and smiled. Rex lowered his head, inched forward, stopping just short of touching her forehead. He didn't nuzzle, he didn't lick, he just stayed there. This wasn't play. It was quiet wisdom. A guardian who knew exactly how far a little explorer should go. Every time Lina crawled, her eyes searched for Rex. And every time, he was already there. Some children find courage in a parent's embrace. Lina found hers, in a pair of silent eyes. There are images with no sound, no music, but they say everything. In one of them, Lina is sitting on the floor, still a baby. Nova lies close by. Rex sits at a small distance. None of them move, none of them play, but they're all together. At first, it looks accidental, as if they just happen to be in the same frame. But if you really look, Lina is always in the center. Nova on the right, Rex on the left, like the base of a triangle, like a quiet circle of protection. And this pattern, it wasn't random. It repeated itself. Different days, different places, but always the same formation. They weren't posing, they weren't trained. It was instinct, the instinct of growing up together. Time passed, seasons changed. Lina grew older. Rex's steps slowed. Nova chased her toys a little less, but one thing never changed. Whenever Lina sat on the floor, there was always one to her right and one to her left. And every time she looked away, she still felt those gentle eyes watching. This isn't just the story of a baby growing up. It's the story of an invisible bond, a bond that needs no touch, no words, no promises, because some connections aren't measured in years, but in presence. One day Lina will speak, and who she calls first, no one knows. But she's already memorized the eyes she trusts most. Some children grow up with a teddy bear, others with a heartbeat beside them. And that's why some memories don't fade. They don't grow old, they just go deeper. If this story of Lina and her loyal companions touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay with us for more. Thank you for watching.